Hello and welcome to the second episode of this video series called Agility Victory Lap. This platform was created to enable young founders evangelize and share their ideas with a broader audience. And it's a pleasure today to have Hugh Kopittke, who is a young CEO of a startup out of Cleveland, Ohio, who's working with us to get the product off the ground. So without further ado, let's dive in. Hi, Hugh.
Hey, Saurabh.
So you're about to start college, yet you're already building one commit. So tell us, what is one commit and why does it need to exist?
First things first, I want to thank you very much for having me here today. My name is Hugh Kopittke. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm running track and field at Emory University next year, and I'm building One Commit, the first self-service recruiting co-pilot for student athletes looking to play sports at the next level. The reason I wanted to build One Commit was I saw a clear gap in automating the process of being recruited, specifically for under-recruited athletes. And what I mean by under-recruited athletes are the 95%, 98% of athletes that are not being reached out to by coaches. So they're not the top football players, they're not the top basketball players, they're not the top baseball players. But they're student athletes that are more than qualified athletically and more than qualified academically. They may not know their options, they may be too lazy to look for their options, or they may just want a tool that helps them do that. So that is why we're building One Commit, and I'm very excited to share more with you.
Most 18-year-olds are picking dorm rooms, meal plans, having conversations with their prospective roommates. You are managing business registrations. You're figuring out compliance. You're trying to build a customer funnel, basically doing a job of a CEO. So walk us through your day. What does it actually take to build a business like this?
It takes a lot of time, but it's also a lot of fun. I start my day at about 8 a.m. every day. I'm on a call Monday through Friday for, about an hour. And then from there, some days I'm meeting with my lawyer, some days I'm talking to you, some days I'm talking to investors or family members. I'm always talking, I'm always trying to learn more, and I'm always filling in a different role. But that's what's great, and that's what's so much fun because no matter how successful this company is, I'm learning so much.
You've partnered with Agility to build the technical platform while you handle the day-to-day business operations as the CEO of One Commit. So how did this partnership with Agility come together and why is it crucial for
Yeah, so I found Agility through a friend that knew you guys, and he introduced me to you, and very grateful that we ended up working together. What I'll say about Agility is they're different from a lot of the firms and other options that I talk to. There are people that will listen to you without fail and build whatever you want and then drop you when they're done. And there are firms like Agility that work with you. And, Saurabh, you and Amit as well, you're kind of like my co-founders. It's great to have you guys to bounce ideas off of and use your technical and business expertise to make sure that, yeah, we're building this product, but we're also building it in the right way. And so, as you said in the question, having a team working for me and alongside me is great because then I can do all the things I talked about in the last question, right? I'm not totally worried about building this from the ground up. And one of the things I've been thinking about recently, obviously, as the rise of AI continues, is hey, well, why can't I just build this myself? After thinking and realizing, what I noticed is that having someone like Agility on your side is so helpful because you can focus, excuse me, on expanding what you're building instead of actually building it. And so it's been very beneficial to work alongside you guys.
Last week's executive order highlights threats to non-revenue sports like track. You specifically focused on under-recruited athletes. Why is this mission so personal for you?
Very few people know what it means to be an under-recruited athlete. Most people would say that you're not the top 5% in your sport, which is to a degree true. But what I've actually realized is that, like I said earlier, it's really only the big three, right? Like your basketball, football, and baseball players. Those top people are the ones that coaches have the bandwidth, the money, the resources to reach out to. So pretty much everyone in a sport like track and, cross country and swimming and sports like that, alongside the rest of the 95% in all the other sports, they're kind of left unknowing what to do. So the more people I talk to, the more I realize that, yeah, these people got recruited eventually, but when they started, they had no idea what schools to reach out to. They had no idea who would take them, why they would take them, what they were looking for. And as I said earlier, a lot of people just didn't know where to start or didn't want to start. There's a lot of people that have their parents do this for them. Coaches don't want that. They want the kids reaching out to them. And this mission is so important to me, A, because I was in this boat. I was an under-recruited athlete, and I was able to figure it out. And I hope to bring that experience to others. But yes, with the executive order, they're really trying to say, hey, there are sports that aren't given as much thought and much consideration because they don't get that NIL money. They don't get these huge funding and energy allocations to them by the schools. And so we hope to come at that from a consumer base, we're going to target the athlete side, and we're going to help them figure out where to go and how to do it in the best way.
Hugh, I would be remiss if I don't bring up the hot topic, AI. So, how do you see AI transforming this space with the market research that you've done and what you've built so far?
Yeah, so I think this is a question that I can answer on two fronts, right? So what are we building and how does it use AI? And how are we building it and how do we use AI? And so I'll start with how we're building. So I talked to Sora, but I talked to you, I talked to the Agility team. I said, I want to make sure that the team and our experts are using AI to the max. I don't want to sit here wasting time because I know what the scope looks like for the future in this space, and I want One Commit to be a company that's very forward thinking and uses everything that's available because that's how we're going to beat everyone to market and that's how we're going to succeed in this space. And in terms of what we're building, I mean, we're building an in-house matching algorithm. We leverage certain LLMs to send and draft our emails, and we're building algorithms that refine our students' lists based on the sentiment analysis that we do from different coaches. So that's all really important because all the buzzwords in AI, you hear them all, right? AGI, agentic AI. We're building that agentic AI solution for this space. We hope to create the no-brainer. Absolutely. If a student is under recruited, they want a self-service platform that's the smartest and most efficient out there, they come to us. And that's the vision I see for the future with AI and One Commit. And I think it's great that we're building in that way because it's going to help us build our own tools down the line.
This question also touches upon democratizing access for student athletes. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so just broadly in the college space, at a school like mine, I was fortunate enough to go to a private school. We had great college counseling resources, right? So if you didn't know where to start, they did, and they kind of helped level the playing field there. There's a lot of schools that don't have that. Now, what all schools don't have is great athletic services. A school might have college recruiting services. Most definitely do not have great athletic recruiting services. Coaches help here and there, but there's no real solution to kids that don't have the resources to, third party physical college counselors, or they just don't have the knowledge on where to start. So that's why we're aiming to leverage, school group buys. Like how can we go to a school and say, hey, you have 50 students that would be interested in this, buy 50 licenses from us, as well as targeting the individual student. And again, that's all part of how we want to make this the perfect go-to solution for all students.
So here's a tricky question for you. What would you tell other young business owners, entrepreneurs who think they need permission to build something big? What would you tell them?
Very simply, I'd say just start. I've thought of and began quite a few different ventures, and a lot of them don't stick, right? That's kind of just the nature. But like I said in an earlier question, no matter how successful One Commit or anything else that I work on becomes, at this age, 18, even younger, anything that you do is all about learning. So you're learning about how do you become more successful in the future. So, I've learned about spaces that I had no idea about, right? Like, finance, tax law, all sorts of law, more technical stuff. The beauty of being young is that you see issues that other people don't see. You experience things and you see ways to improve upon situations. That's what I did. And that's kind of the advantage that you have being young at any age, really. But for me, obviously, someone that was much older than me probably wouldn't see this same gap in this market. So again, very simply, what I'd say to a young founder is find something that you think you could do better, start researching that thing, and just start playing around with it. There's so many AI tools now, if you're building in software, that you can just begin. And once you're ready to really fully commit, One Commit to this venture, then you look for someone like Agility. But you don't need to right away. You just need to start and flesh out your idea.
Really enjoying this conversation with you, Hugh.
Same
Time
here.
for your victory lap moment. What achievement so far, in terms of what you've built, makes you most proud?
Yeah, I'd say it's a broad one, right? I mean, first things first, we're getting really close to having our first beta users on the platform, and that's something that will really hit hard and say, hey, this is really real. And we're not at that moment quite yet, but I'd say that all the feedback and conversations that I've had with people are just as rewarding and just as fulfilling for me so far. So, talking to my college counselor and saying, hey, look at what we did, a year ago, a year and a half ago, and look at how I'm striving to make this better, and her just saying, wow, this is incredible. And talking to students that have gone through this process. Just last night I was talking to a student athlete who's a golfer, and I said, hey, wouldn't you really like this? And he was just blown away. And it's conversations like that that say, hey, look, I, Hugh, know and think that this product would be very helpful. But to know that other people that I've never met or haven't talked to in a while, they have no stake in this. They also think it's going to be really great. That's my big moment. That's my big win so far. And that really validates what you're working on. So I guess to tie back into last question and end on a positive note, there will be people around you in your circle, via one connection that will love what you're doing and want to help you, especially if you're young. So find those people that like what you're doing, like you, believe in what you're doing, and start working on something great because again, you just learn and you just become better for the future.
Fantastic, Hugh. That was really amazing. That was really inspiring, and I hope some of that exuberance and enthusiasm rubs off on somebody who's thinking of an idea but is struggling to take it off the ground. Hugh,
Yes,
this
sir.
was fantastic. Thanks for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you so much, Sorb. Appreciate it.